Hello everyone, so welcome back to my channel. So today we are starting a new series known as the Collector's Vault. So today I'll be having a chat with one of the OGs of Bangalore, Mr. Pranjal, who has been collecting from last 7 to 8 years. He is famously known as the ETB King and he is famous for his ETB wall, which you'll be seeing further in the video. So let's dive in and understand how his collection journey has been and what he has to say for the new collectors out there. So hello Pranjal, welcome to my channel and thanks to you again for taking your busy schedule. I know you have been traveling a lot. Yeah. So welcome to my channel. So to start off with, I would like to understand what made you come into this hobby and why did you choose Pokemon as your hobby to collect them in your journey?
Thanks Bharat for inviting me and thank you for having me in your channel. Glad to be here. So, what made me start the hobby was basically I started my journey like you mentioned 8-9 years back. So when I started my journey, it was never like I'll have a full-fledged collection of these many ETBs or booster boxes.
Mm-hmm.
The way it started was I was in the States, United States, and I went to one of the Targets and I bought a pack.
When were you in United States?
Thanks.
It
was
which year?
2017 to 2019.
2017. I think still the boom, it was in the boom, not there. There was still not the boom.
Yeah, it's a good point that you mentioned about the boom, right? So before coming into the hobby, I thought, okay, I saw some random packs, right, for $3-4. I thought, let me try it. So I bought a couple of them.
Okay.
I did not pull anything as usual, and then I bought few more. That's how the journey started initially. Okay. But having said that, full-fledged, I was never into the hobby. It was just randomly twice or thrice in 4 or 5 months I used to buy packs.
Okay.
Blister packs or maybe a bundle in sometimes, right? So that's how I started my journey. And why Pokemon? Because when I was a kid, I'm sure most of us have watched the anime or the cartoon.
That's why as soon as I come from school, the first thing I used to do is switch on the TV. Me and my brother used to sit and watch the series.
Watch the Pokemon series.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how, I mean, Pokemon was always there in the journey. So if you remember earlier, we used to collect Tazo cards or the Cheeto goodies which we used to get from Pokemon, right? That's where actually my hobby started. If you would look at it, right, from a collection journey point of view. Now, as most of us, my mother has somewhere thrown my Tazos and Cheetos freebies. But having said that, that's where it started. But when I started earning, I thought, since now it's my financial responsibility as well.
So I have some extra cash. Why not spend it on Pokemon?
So why not at least sometimes we spend it on Pokemon? So that's where it started. And like I mentioned, Pokemon has always been in my journey.
So is there any product or any card that brought you full-fledged into collecting and having such a beautiful wall of ETB?
Yeah. So firstly, it was never a wall of ETB when I started.
Okay.
So when I started, it always used to be the booster boxes. I'm sure you have seen my collection. I like to keep it private for me for now. So the way it started was Team Up recently came during when I actually got into the hobby.
Okay.
And I really liked the card Gengar Mimikyu, and somehow I pulled the rainbow one.
Oh wow!
Not the secret rare one, but the rainbow one. So that's what Gengar being one of my favorite Pokemon. That's where I started and I hooked into the hobby, and then I said, okay, let me start collecting.
Okay.
And if you look at the time frame where Team Up, Cosmic Eclipse, Unified Minds came, those were the sets which everyone used to love in that time frame.
I think when this was released, no one knew that it would go to such wonderful heights. Yeah. But I think only in the Sword and Shield, in the mid of Sword and Shield era, the Sun and Moon, this tail end just shot up, and it was like two good cards. The tag team cards, I think the Pokemon needs to again reintroduce. I really love the tag team art back then. Yes.
So I think one of the reasons for that was the tag team, because if you look at the Raichu tag team, the Psyduck, Slowbro tag team, and then Latios, of course, and Gengar, Mimikyu, Mewtwo, Mew, all these were some of the OG Pokemons which started me, because I was also a genuine guy always. So that's where I got hooked up into the hobby, and I used to watch Pokerev and Leonhardt back then when they were on YouTube.
Okay.
They used to rip a lot of vintage.
I think back then there were only very few YouTubers who used to record all the videos. I guess, right? Yeah.
So couple of them were Leonhardt and Pokerev whom I used to watch.
Okay.
So there was always, in my YouTube algorithm, there was something about Pokemon anime or the cards going on, and then thanks to Target and Walmart, I got that opportunity to buy some packs, and that's the journey which I have been, carrying throughout my USA stint as well as in India.
So I think it was like you were at the right place and at the right time, and that's what you had an advantage of collecting all the Sun and Moon era booster packs, right?
Yeah. That was one of the reasons, because of the team ups at that time, it was easily available. I mean, ETBs we used to get in 39.99 plus taxes, so it was very easy to get a hold on that. So before the boom, that was the main reason why I started collection, was to, I started initially with thinking that I'll master all the sets of Sun and Moon, but that did not fly because, of course, I was busy with my work and then so on and so forth.
So do you still have the Sun and Moon booster boxes with you? And when you moved from US to India, so did you carry that with you to India?
Yeah, so it was very tough actually, if you ask me, and most of the Bangalore fellows know that it has been a tough journey. So after COVID, when I came back, I thought, okay, in India hardly people would be collecting. I don't know if Pokemon is there or not.
Yes.
So I actually sold a lot of my binders there because it was too heavy to carry. But at some point in time, I thought, at least let me carry one of the each booster boxes, so that at least I can keep it as a souvenir that I used to collect in this.
Okay, that's good.
So that's where it all began, and shipping was a very big challenge. A lot of investment had gone just for shipping those boxes in mint condition with acrylic cases. It becomes too heavy of a weight,
it's too expensive, and again crossing the customs, I think it's a big challenge, because they sometimes rip the booster box. I think that was a big challenge for you, right?
Right. So that was a big challenge. They ripped a couple of my Sword and Shield booster boxes.
Okay.
But that time it was like, considering the amount of boxes I had, I was like, okay, I was comfortable having that. But again, it took me 90 days to get the customs cleared back then in 2020.
Oh God.
Because that time COVID, a lot of people were migrating back. Right? So that was a challenge. But having said that, I do have Sun and Moon era booster boxes. So I have a base, Crimson, Lost Thunder, Unified Minds, Cosmic Eclipse, even the team up, I have it for now.
That's good.
Yeah.
So let me show to the viewers how nicely he has kept his ETB collection. I think you can just have a glimpse of the ETB boxes. That you saw his collection, I'm really amazed by his ETB wall. So Pranjal, tell me, how did you start collecting such amazing ETB collection, and is there anything special or very valuable in your collection that you want to share with the viewers?
So thank you for acknowledging. I mean, Bharat, you yourself have such a great.
You have been my inspiration, actually. The one
and you have been my inspiration.
That's actually good to know that we are inspiring each other to collect more. Yeah.
So special set. So I relate to the hobby more from a perspective of what is more personal to me. So the more personal to me is, for example, if you talk about Sword and Shield era, everyone likes Evolving Skies. But for me, the personal favorite set is the Fusion Strike, right? So because of the Gengar artwork, I love that artwork. So that is one of the special sets which I have. I think I have a PC ETB there.
Okay. Oh,
of
wow.
Fusion Strike.
So which is your favorite Pokemon? Gengar and?
Gengar. I like Gengar. I like Alakazam. Any of the psychic types.
All the psychic type Pokemon. Okay, good.
So that's one. But having said that, of course, Charizard never goes away.
Yeah, right? Charizard and Pikachu will be fan favorite of everyone.
Everyone,
yeah.
So, a genuine Pokemon, if you see most of the genuine Pokemon, and then that's where my journey has been, And talking about the sets, I like Fusion Strike. Now it has gained a lot of value in terms of monetary value as well. But for me, it is always a special set. For me, 151 is always a special set. I like Team Rocket, so one of my dream boxes, booster boxes, are Team Rocket first edition, right? The OG one. So
that's, I think, too expensive right now, right? What is the market price?
I think it's gone up to upwards of $35K US.
Oh my God.
The first edition box.
Okay. So I think now with the release of the Destined Rival, the price would have shot up even more.
Yeah.
After the release of Destined Rival.
Yeah.
Correct.
So if you see vintage boxes, vintage cards, vintage has been the most realized gains if you see
Yes,
from a
understand.
perspective year on year as well.
Correct.
Apart from some of the artworks, which, for example, Distant Rivals, you mentioned.
Yeah, I really like the color combination and the Mewtwo artwork on the ETB. I think it looks
Right.
really good and attractive.
It's and it was the first set which had, you know, not just the Pokemon but also the trainer.
Yes.
So if you look at overall collection, these two, that's why I have kept the normal one as one in my
Uh-huh.
sealed collection, because both are different and both look very unique.
Very unique.
Right?
Yes.
So that's been one of my favorite sets of Scarlet Violet era. 151 has been one of my favorites. And then, of course, you know, Team Up and Cosmic Eclipse and Unified Minds. These three are one of my favorites. So overall, yeah, I like a lot of sets. It's more about what personally means to you rather than more of a value to you when I talk about myself.
Point for the viewers. So because nowadays people just go behind the money and they just see this hobby as a money machine.
Yeah.
So rather than what is in the demand, so always it's good to collect what brings happiness to you and what is your favorite artwork or favorite set. So never go behind what people are collecting. Always collect what you like.
Yeah, so it should be a personal collection journey. For example, what you like personally might not be the something which I want in my collection, right? So, but because you bought, that doesn't mean I have to buy it, and it goes vice versa.
Agree,
if I am collecting all sets, doesn't mean everyone has to collect all sets. If I am collecting prismatic, that doesn't mean you have to collect.
Agree. I totally agree. So I understand that you have each and every collection of the Pokemon Center exclusive ETB from the Scarlet and Violet era. So how challenging was it for you to collect this, or how did you manage to grab all this? Because we don't have access to the Pokemon Center in India, so it's a big challenge for the collectors here to have this in their collection.
Right. So, good question, Bharat. I think it's important for everyone to understand that it's not easy to collect Pokemon TCG when it is not officially licensed in India.
Correct.
So always there is a premium which you have to pay when you collect, and then you have to go through the hassle of shipping from US, UK, Canada, ANZ, or in fact Japan when you're collecting Japanese exclusives. Right?
Correct.
So, if, for example, you talk about these boxes, these are not easy to come by for India because you have to go through the customs, shipping, all those hassle.
Correct.
So talking about my Pokemon Center collection, so before the actual hype came during the Surging Sparks time, right? When we got the Pikachu
that was when the
artwork.
Pokemon TCG Pocket came. So I think that was one of the reason for the TCG cards to boom up.
That was actually a good point, like you mentioned. Pocket came. A lot of people who used to play Pokemon Go earlier, or who used to like Pokemon, they started playing Pocket, and then slowly from digitally they came to the physical cards, and that's where a lot of boom happened. So before Surging Sparks, you also know, Bharat, you have been collecting for some time. The era was very different, where you could access Pokemon Center and grab those boxes.
There was no queue system, anything. I think even after set release, even after a month or two, you could easily pick up one or two Pokemon Center ETBs, right?
Easily. So before Surging Sparks, like I was saying, it was very easy to access Pokemon Center. If you have a US, UK, Canada address, you can easily ship it to your relatives, your friends, and then get it when they come, or get it shipped over through any of the shipping or companies and get it in India. Having said that, of course, like I said, there's a premium involved, and there is a lot of mental, strategy, or rather strategy, a lot of mental hassle you have to go through to acquire all these products. So Scarlet and Violet, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian, all these I have had for some time, because that time I used to access Pokemon Center, and luckily I had few friends and one of my brother who never ships to me.
Okay.
He's been there, so I used to take their help and get it shipped to India. But yeah, the main challenge started during the Surging Sparks era, as you said. Pokemon Center boxes became more exclusive, more premiumized, and hard to access. And then there's queue system which came in, which eliminated a lot of bots, but also when you are trying to access.
For the true collector also, again, it's a long time-taking process. Anxiety for them, whether they'll be able to add to the cart, whether they'll be able to check in. So now, since there are more collectors, I think it's even more challenging to have this in their collection.
So the journey has been a roller coaster, if I have to sum it up. But since I like the hobby, I have been collecting. I had easy access, so I collected all the Pokemon Center ETBs. So more of like a OCD, because some I had, some I did not have. So some I bought it via eBay, some I bought it from Pokemon Center, some I bought it from collectors like you who were ready to trade in India.
Okay.
So that's how the entire Scarlet and Violet era summed up for me.
That's really good to know. So to ask one more question, so seeing how the current scenario is for the Pokemon and such a hype is there and the 30th anniversary is coming, so how do you think for the next 2 to 3 years how the Pokemon hobby is going to go? Do you think this the bubble, it's a bubble and it's going to burst, or do you think the hype is going to go and prices are going to even go crazy?
So personally, I feel like the way I have seen the market grow, everyone was saying that if you remember the Logan Paul boom which had happened, everyone said that okay, this is a boom, it will burst, the bubble will burst, and then everything will come down to the grounds. Now looking at Pokemon, it's not just a hobby for a lot of people, it's also a form of an asset which they are looking at from an investment perspective. It's kind of their secondary investment strategy as well. Even if you look at today's wars, how they're going, a lot of people are saying that the Pokemon market has been, or the TCG market has been more stable than any other market.
S&P index and all. I think TCG cards are more stable, and it's like the mark looks like the war is not affecting any of these prices and the hype.
So that's where from a market perspective, what I see is the more collectors are joining the hobby. A lot of people who were in the era of anime, cartoons, what we call, right, and then a lot of people who used to play games of Pokemon, now they are in the earning class, they're earning well, they're getting good money, so they're also coming into the hobby slowly and steadily. So if you look at the range of people coming in, so it's not just a child's hobby now, it's now an adult's hobby as well.
It's basically like the child which we grew up seeing the anime. Now we are adults, so the same child has been collecting the hobby. So as the Pokemon company has grown, we have also grown up, and so now we have that extra cash to buy some products. I think we are in a better position to buy more products now.
Right. So that's where I see that it's the chart I see is going up only, while there will be few downs during the market and during the prints, what happens in Pokemon, the circulations which happens in Pokemon. But I don't see it going down to a level where like we used to have $40, $50 that is easily available. So the market, if I have to talk about the market, I see it going up only. I see more people coming in. Even if you look at just the Bangalore group, we are
I think even in Bangalore, I think more than 100 plus collectors are there in Bangalore alone. So just imagine how many new collectors are coming all over the India. So I think that's, like you said, the market is hopefully doesn't slow down. So even if there is maybe a small up and down, but I think as per you, the market should be going good, right?
It should be going good. It should be picking up only. If you look at, everyone was saying that Prismatic is overhyped. When Prismatic launched, everything will come down to the ground. Pokemon Center will print XYZ number of products and everything will come down. But we have not seen that, despite the reprints again and again. We have not seen this box going down at all.
Exactly. Even for the 151 and Prismatic, as you said, even 151 was printed to the ground, and you can see the current market prices. So I don't think so the demand for any of these products going to come down anytime sooner.
So the idea is, if you are collecting from a perspective that you will get a good return, you will have to hold the product for at least 2 to 3 years. Despite you buy at the all-time high at that point in time of the market, you will anyways easily get the returns when you spend at least 2-3 years investing in that. You should not flip it immediately. You should not hold it for, let's say, 1 or 2 months and expect a result of 100, 200, 300% gains.
So the sealed is a game of patience. The more patience you have and more longer you hold the sealed, I think that will give you better returns. So to wrap up the video, so I just want to ask you, what is the new message for you would like to give to the new collectors? And now seeing the Pokemon ETBs and the booster boxes, they are so expensive and it's very difficult to get them. So how do you tell, and what is your message for the new collectors to be financially responsible, and how should they collect the sealed products, labs or single?
Good point. You mentioned a lot of people are joining our hobby. So in India, the best what we can do is, if you are experienced enough, you should educate the new collectors. You should teach the new collectors, or rather guide the new collectors in a way that they should not overspend, right? Like you mentioned. So the advice from my side is, don't go with the hype. If Pranjal is collecting something, that should not mean that you should collect that too. Collect what you like, what you relate to, what is in your interest, what your heart says, right? If I like a slab, if I like a box, that doesn't mean you have to go by that, saying that okay, because Pranjal is collecting, because Bharat is collecting, you have to collect the same. So my advice is, go with your heart, go with the hobby in a way you should treat it as a hobby, and talking about the financial part of it, so you know that I have a set budget every month, and I
Yes.
follow it as
That
my
is
strict
always a very good point to have a set budget so that
Yeah.
you don't
overspend.
overspend and get burned out easily.
Right.
Correct.
So the financial advice is, first see what you like, then you see whether you can afford it, and then you see that whether if you can afford it now, or whether you want to hold it and see that whether it's a right decision for you or not. So what I personally follow as a discipline or a practice is, I have a set of budget. If I have, for example, if I have bought it at the first day of the month, I will probably stick to that and stay silent for the entire month. That's my strategy, and it requires a lot of discipline. Might sound like something which, for new collectors, this might sound like something which is manageable, but trust me, it's not. It's not easy to come to the hobby and not overspend. This is, I have learned it in a hard way. So my recommendation is, when you are in the hobby, ensure that you have a set budget. Ensure that you are collecting what you like, not what market hype is saying, or any of the YouTubers are saying, or any of the XYZ content creators are saying. Stick to your budget, stick to what you like, and then start your journey slowly and steadily. Don't go for everything at the same point in time. So that's what my message for the viewers would be, Bharat.
Yeah, Pranjal. So that was really informative for all the viewers out there. So like Pranjal was saying, so always have a set budget, enjoy the hobby, and just don't go chasing the each set, because now the Pokemon company is releasing sets every 2 months, 2.5 months. So just enjoy whatever you're collecting, and also remember that you can never have everything in your collection. Some or the other thing you will have to miss. So like Pranjal said, always have a set budget, enjoy the hobby, and you will be very good to go. So he's been a live example. So if you have patience and if you collect for 8 to 9 years, you also can have such a wonderful collection. So again, Pranjal, thank you again for your time and your knowledge for what you've given to the collectors. I know you've been really busy, and I really appreciate this. So as a token of appreciation, I would just like to present to you a small gift for all the time and efforts. So once again, thank you for being in my channel, and it was really helpful to you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Yeah. Please subscribe.
See you.